This show is produced by the Hartman Media Company. For more information and links to all our great podcasts, visit hartmanmedia.com.
Speakers, publishers, consultants, coaches, and info marketers unite. The Speaking of Wealth Show is your roadmap to success and significance. Learn the latest tools, technologies, and tactics to get more bookings, sell more products, and attract more clients. If you're looking to increase your direct response sales, create a big-time personal brand, and become the go-to guru, the Speaking of Wealth Show is for you. Here's your host, Jason Hartman.
It's my pleasure to welcome Ruth Soukup to the show. She is the founder of Elite Blog Academy and the most popular women's personal finance blog, livingwellspendingless.com. She's author of several books, including the #1 New York Times best-selling book, How to Blog for Profit Without Selling Your Soul. Ruth, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on the show. Where are you located?
I live in Florida, beautiful sunny Florida.
Fantastic. What city, though?
Punta Gorda.
Oh, okay. Good stuff. So you have a great entrepreneurial story. Tell us a little bit more about it and how it all began.
Sure. Well, I started my business as a blog, and honestly, I had absolutely no intention of starting a business when I started. I was a stay-at-home mom of 2 little girls at the time. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I was spending a lot of time at Target just because I was looking for something to do. I would pile my kids up in the car and go to Target. And so as you can imagine, this Target habit of mine was not exactly great for our finances. And so my husband and I started fighting more and more about money. And I just needed to find something to do that wasn't shopping and help me hold myself accountable. So I thought, well, I'll start a blog about trying to live well and spend less. Mm-hmm. That was sort of how I started. And it was great. I loved writing and I loved blogging. And I discovered there was this whole other world out there of blogs and bloggers and blogging. And it was really interesting to me. But then I also realized there were people that were out there making money at this, like making money online. And so I thought, I think I could do that too. So I went to my husband. I was like, honey, I have this idea. I am going to make enough money blogging so that you can quit your job. And at the time, my husband was an aerospace engineer, so it's not like he was working at Walmart.
Right. Give us a time frame, though.
He was pulling in pretty good money.
Okay, so he was doing well. What year is it
well.
now when you're saying this? Like, what year is it?
This is 2010.
Okay, great. So about 8 years ago. Okay, good.
About 8 years ago, yes. And so he looked at me and just said, honey, that is the stupidest thing that you have ever said. You cannot make money on a blog. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm the kind of person that if you tell me I can't do something, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Sure.
And so I was pretty determined from that moment on that I was going to make it work. And I just started learning as much as I could about how to make money online, how to make money with a blog, what it took to monetize, how to get traffic to my site. Really just was voracious reader and tested everything that I was doing. And it took about 2.5 years, but eventually I was making enough money through my online business that my husband was able to quit his job, and he has been a stay-at-home dad ever since, and that's been pretty amazing.
Fantastic. So what were some of your favorite books? You said you were a voracious reader. Just give us like 1 or 2 of them that really helped you in your blog building.
Well, the one that I read probably 50 times in my first 6 months of blogging was Darren Rouse's Pro Blogger. Mm-hmm. Because in 2010, there wasn't a lot of information out there about blogging, and especially about how to make money blogging. And so that was the one that I just would read over and over and over again, and tried to find a lot of different articles, but then also read, and I can't remember the titles of any of the books that I read because they were all very obscure, but a lot of books on SEO and search engine optimization and just different things like that.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what you learned about SEO, just very briefly. I know it's a huge subject, but you know, are there? I mean, yeah. Do you recommend a certain software or like Yoast or anything in particular there? Just want to make sure we give our listeners some tips, some stuff they can go out and
some great takeaways.
Yeah.
Yoast is awesome. I use that. I think the most important thing that you can know about SEO is, and this is how I simplify it for myself, is that if you think about Google and what they're trying to do, Google's job is to bring the best possible results for every single search. That's what they're committed to doing. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to optimize your blog posts or your content for search results, you need to really think about it in terms of if somebody was searching for this exact article, what would they be searching for? It's not about gaming the system. It's not about loading your content with keywords. I don't think that works. Google is actually smarter than that, and they continue to get smarter all the time.
Right.
It's really about making it accessible. So if you have a certain kind of content, think about what would people be searching for, and then that's what you'll want to optimize for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, good. Give us some metrics. Like, you started out obviously with nothing. Okay. This was just a brand new startup business. And where are you now, and how did you monetize your blog?
Well, from where I was and where I started, which was at zero and not knowing what I was doing at all, I now have, a multi-7-figure business. And so it's grown exponentially. I have a team of about 12 full-time plus about 10 contractors that work for me. The traffic is amazing. I usually over 1 million page views a month to my blog, and I have an email list of just under 1 million.
Wow. Congratulations. That's awesome.
It has definitely grown exponentially. I have many, many products that we manufacture and sell. We have physical products. We have digital products. And I would say that the monetization piece is definitely something that has changed a lot over the years. When I started, I did mostly ad network revenue. It was all, I thought that was how you made money on a blog, was by putting ads up on your site. And I still do have ads on my site. That's still a legitimate way to make money. But then I started.
And is it with a Google ad network or what?
Originally, it was with Google AdSense. I now use a different company than Google AdSense. I go through a company called AdThrive, and they mostly negotiate with different advertisers. So it's a slightly higher rate, which is nice.
Great.
And then there's affiliate marketing. There's working, directly with brands. Before I had my own products, I was a brand spokesperson for Frigidaire and for Closet Maid, and earned some income that way. But really, then once I started creating my own products, first I started writing books and then creating other different types of products. That's definitely how I've managed to build the 7-figure.
Fantastic. Yeah, great story. That's awesome. Give us an idea as to, if you were looking at a pie chart, how the revenue splits up. What percentage of your revenue comes from the ad network? I think you said it's AdThrive or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then what percentage comes from books, and what kind of products do you have and sell? And what else?
Well, that's a really good question. If you would have looked at my income, my revenue in, say, 2013 and 2014, it probably would have been about 80 to 90% from ad networks.
And what kind of revenue was that, if you're willing to share?
Let's see, at the time, I was probably, I think 2014, I think I ended the year at like 600,000 in gross revenue for the year.
And that was pretty much from ad networks. That's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah. So it was good. And and to make money on ad networks, you have to have a lot of traffic. And so that's, for some people, most blogs do not have the level of traffic that I receive to my blog. So I've been very fortunate that way. But what happens when you do have a lot of traffic and you are going with ad networks, it's sort of like the lowest rate of return that you're going to get on your audience. What I learned with my business is, have you read the book Good to Great?
Oh, yeah, Jim Collins.
Jim Collins, my favorite book. I read it every year. But one of the things they talk about in there is understanding what you're measuring. And that's really important. And I realized what I needed to be measuring was not the number of people that were coming to my site, but the revenue per visitor, revenue per unique visitor. And so that's something that I started paying much closer attention to, I think, back in 2014. And so that has changed a lot as I've changed. I think in 2013 or 2014, I was making maybe 3 cents per visitor. And now I'm making about 75 cents per visitor per year. That makes a really big difference.
huge difference. Yeah. Okay. And so what does the pie chart of revenue look like now? Like, what percentage from this, that, and the other thing?
Well, ad networks is probably about 5% now.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a very, very small percentage. And then affiliates are probably another 5%. And then our own products is about 90%.
And what products do you have?
We have lots of different products. So I have books, but one of our biggest products is a course that we sell to bloggers called Elite Blog Academy. That's a course that I founded in 2014 after I wrote my book, how to blog for profit without selling your soul. Because on Living Well, Spending Less, my original blog, I'd never really talked about blogging or the business side of blogging. But after my husband quit his job, there were so many people asking, what are you doing differently? How, I've been blogging just as long as you have, but I'm not making enough money that my husband can quit his job. So what are you doing differently? So I decided to write this book, and I honestly did not expect anything big to happen from it. I just figured it would be something I could give to my friends. Every once in a while, I have readers contact me wanting to know how to start a blog. And I published that book, and it immediately shot to number 2 on Amazon. It was actually really crazy because I had no idea that this topic would be of such interest for people, but they were just desperate for the information. Then I found that I still had so many people coming to me with so many questions. And what I've learned about products is that the best products that you can sell are the products that people are already asking you those questions. Yeah. I don't know if you know Dan Miller from 48 Days.
Yeah, I've had him on the show. Yeah.
Yes, he's so great. And I heard him speak at a conference once. And what he said was like life-changing for me. But he said that anytime somebody asks me the same question 3 times, I create a product. And I have never forgotten that. And I have created a lot of products as a result of that philosophy. So I started getting all these questions and just saw that the number one question that I would get from bloggers was, there's so much information out there about blogging that I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know what to do in what order. Can you just please tell me step by step what I have to do to be successful? And I think that's for me is I just love processing lots of information, and I'm very good at then breaking it down into step-by-step instructions. Right. And so I started to just kind of draw on my own experience and everything I've learned over the last, 8 years, and created this course called Elite Blog Academy. So that's
how much do you sell the course for?
$897, and it includes lifetime access, and it only opens for registration once a year.
Okay.
And we usually have a waiting list for the full year for people to get in. We currently have about 6,000 students in EBA.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So you've got a $900 course. That's the prime revenue stream, it sounds like. Now, on that course, it's interesting that you only open it up once a year. That sort of builds anticipation and builds in scarcity and so forth. Is the format recorded videos, or what? Tell us about the format of that course and why you think it's been so successful. I mean, there's lots of people that have educational content about blogging. There's no shortage of that, but your course is very successful. Why is that?
It's incredibly foundational, and it is very, very thorough. And we have updated it consistently. We originally started in 2014, and it's a number of videos, but it's also assignments. I mean, if you print out all of the workbooks and the assignments, there's over 500 pages that can make up all of the workbook. So it's a lot of content. There's 36 assignments that you have to do for EBA. They're not like annoying homework. It's every single assignment is designed to help you do something to make your blog better. So you're actually building your blog as you complete the course. It's not, you're not doing it in theory, you're doing it in practice. And it's really the power of the course is in the work and going through methodically. Because for so many people, there's so much information out there. And the problem is not that we don't get good advice and find good stuff out there. It's that if you're not doing it in the right order, you're not going to get momentum and you're not going to get the results that you want. And we've had amazing success stories over the past 5 years. I mean, literally thousands of bloggers that we have guided to create their own successful 6 and even 7-figure businesses through their blogs. And I will say our students are raving fans. And one of the really cool things about EBA is the community. And it's the most supportive environment you will ever find. Our students feel such a sense of gratitude towards how this course has changed their life that they come back and they're the leaders for the next class and for the next generation. And there's not a lot of competition or pettiness or anything like that. It's very much like, how can we help you? And they come back, and I mean, it's just amazing to see. And it's so incredibly humbling. I love our community so much.
I want to ask you 2 things before you go. Student stories. I want to hear about your students that built these multi-million-dollar blogs through using the course. And then also I want to hear about the course itself. I'd ask you, what is the content and format? So you've got these assignments, 36 assignments you mentioned. Is it a video-based course? Is it audio? I'm sure it's mixed. The community, is that a private Facebook group? Just what's kind of included? What's the mix of offerings there? Because for anybody listening that wants to create a course or something like that, this will be great tips for them.
Yeah, so it's all hosted on a member's website called Membarium, which connects to Infusionsoft, which we've used. And there's 12 units, which are split into 4 modules. And each of the 12 units has 3 assignments. And there's 1 video per unit. And then there's also 1 Q&A video per unit that we filmed. Just basically because we've done the course for so long, we have continued to collect all the questions that we know we get for particular units. That's the nice thing. Once you run a course for a long time, you know what students are going to ask and you can anticipate them. We have emails that go out that correspond to the lessons. So the course is self-guided. And we can tell, people have to click a button when they finish a unit. So then we know where they're at in the course and we're able to monitor it that way and send them support emails based on where they're at in the course.
Okay. Private Facebook group?
Yes, definitely a private Facebook group. And that's a huge, huge part of the course is the community in the private Facebook group. And I get in there and do a lot of live Q&As. But not just me, our alumni come in and do a teaching almost every week to answer questions and to just help out with different things. We have a lot of great experts in our community who have either gone through EBA and then become experts in a certain area, whether it be affiliate marketing or social media or technical stuff. They come in and help out and are constantly providing support to the community as well.
Okay, tell us about some of your multi-million-dollar student success stories.
Yeah, well, one of my favorites is a gal named Rosemary Groner, who was in our very first class of EBA in 2014. And when she started EBA, she had only had her blog for a couple of months and she was making $18 a month. And her blog was just a side hustle for her. And she also was running a home daycare and basically running herself ragged. And so she started EBA. She took 9 months to go through it. She did every single step in order and just really was completely diligent about making sure she did every single thing. And at the end of that 9 months, believe she was making $5,000 a month. And now, just a few years later, her blog has continued to grow and improve and take off. And she's now at over $100,000 a month in revenue.
And where's her revenue coming from?
Her revenue comes from products that she sells. She's amazing at affiliate marketing. So I would say those are probably her 2 top monetization methods.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is her whole thing the budget, like budgeting and things like that?
Her blog is called The Busy Budgeter. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I believe she has some products on budgeting and a budget boot camp or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. All right, great. Well, anything else you want to tell us before you go?
Well, Elite Blog Academy only opens for registration once a year. Definitely get on the waiting list as soon as possible, which you can do at eliteblogacademy.com.
That actually reminds me of a question I asked before, but I don't know that we really got an answer to it. Tell us about the only opening once a year concept and how you do that. And that's a really short window, by the way, for people to register. Is that really just more of a marketing gimmick, or is it so that you'll have people in the community coming in at all the same time every year, or, so they're all kind of at the same level? Just tell us more about that whole concept.
Yeah. So one of the problems with my business is the blessing and the curse of my business is that I essentially have 2 businesses in one. So Living Well, Spending Less it's how I started. I have this gigantic audience with Living Well, Spending Less, and we have lots of products for Living Well, Spending Less as well. I have a planner called the Living Well Planner that we manufacture and sell and does very, very well for us. So revenue-wise, Elite Blog Academy only accounts for a portion of our total company revenue. And so we have to be able to split our time. And we've found that with EBA, it's very labor intensive to be managing bloggers through this journey. They have lots of questions and there's lots of concerns and all of that stuff. So just from a bandwidth standpoint for me and my team, we found that opening once a year, it works best and is easiest. I'm sure we probably could open more than once a year and do even better, but my most important thing is providing value. It's one of the core values for our company is we provide real value. And I would never want to just sell a course that I didn't legitimately think is going to help people and change people's lives. And so in order to do that most effectively, we find that opening our doors once a year is the way to do that.
Mm-hmm. And how many people do you think will register in this very short window in March?
Well, it's anybody's guess. It'll probably be somewhere around 2,000. Last year we had, I think, about 2,300 registered during our open enrollment.
Mm-hmm. You picked the model of just pay once and you're a member forever concept versus like a monthly subscription or an annual renewal or anything like that. What was behind that thinking?
That's just the way I did it. I mean, it's definitely a point of contention within my executive team for my company. We talk about it often, but again, for me, it's more like the money is great. It's amazing to have a company, a 7-figure company, but I really, truly, not everyone will feel this way, but I just really, truly get so much joy out of seeing our students succeed. And so whatever I can do to help that and making it a lifetime membership has just been a huge benefit that I think the students see it as such a benefit that they come and give back so much more to the community that I could ever ask for. Mm-hmm. And they pay it forward in so many different ways that it's worked out. It's probably overly generous from that standpoint. A monthly membership would have probably been a much smarter business move, but that's not the way I did it. And it's worked out okay. So, sometimes hindsight is 20/20.
Right. Well, I'm not saying monthly would definitely necessarily be better. I mean, if it was a smaller monthly or annual fee or something like that, you'd have it's just a different dynamic, obviously. So, but, I'm curious as to why the window is so short. I mean, literally you have a 1 week every year that people can join rather than 1 month, for example, or doing it twice a year or something. It's really interesting. Any comments on that?
I think that we find that people are so ready to buy by the time enrollment opens that window is not really an issue. And that way, we don't have to bombard our community with 1,000 emails over the course of the month where they get sick of it. It's one short window every single year. This is it. Like you're either in or you're out. And we do, of course we do lead up to the week. Next week we'll have a Build Your Blog Bootcamp available for people who don't yet have a blog but want to help getting theirs set up. And so we'll do lots of different things. But honestly, the 5 days feels like an eternity when you're in it. So, it does. So I don't think I would want it any longer.
That's not the week to have website problems or merchant account problems or anything like that, So absolutely. Well, good stuff. Well, Ruth, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you sharing your story, and I wish you the best.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes. Be sure to check out the show's specific website and our general website, hartmanmedia.com, for appropriate disclaimers and terms of service. Remember that guest opinions are their own, and if you require specific legal or tax advice or advice in any other specialized area, please consult an appropriate professional. And we also very much appreciate you reviewing the show. Please go to iTunes or Stitcher Radio or whatever platform you're using and write a review for the show. We would very much appreciate that. And be sure to make it official and subscribe so you do not miss any episodes. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.